The blessing of consecrated eyes. That's the title topic of today's daily dose. So in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus said this. He said that the eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? Matthew 6, verses 22 and 23. So Jesus is saying that what we give our eyes to is going to determine the course of our lives. If your eyes, if they're looking upon God, upon the things of God, on the light of Jesus, then your whole life is going to be blessed and filled with light. However, if your eyes are gazing on the things of this messed up, distorted world, if your eyes are given over to lust or focused on worldly treasures, then Jesus has promised that your whole life is going to begin to be messed up. Darkness. So along these lines, here's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about Samson of all people. When I was thinking about this passage from Jesus, my mind went to Samson. You know, the strong guy in the Bible, right? Anyway, what made Samson strong? See, the secret of Samson's strength, it was in the locks of hair. Well, kinda, but not really. You see, his hair didn't really make him strong, but his hair was the symbol of his consecration to the Lord and was the pledge of God's favor on him. So while his hair was untouched, Samson was a consecrated man. As soon as it was cut away, he was no longer perfectly consecrated. And if he was not consecrated to God, then the strength of God would depart from him. So anyway, he's strong, he's consecrated to the Lord, his hair flowing, beautiful, but something happened. What happened? How did Samson lose it all? Believe me, I'm tied back into the eyes. Just hang with me here. How did he lose it all? How did the strong man of God end up in chains, mocked, and living in great darkness? Why and how? Because of his eyes. Because of his eyes, ultimately. But no, Pastor, it's his hair. No, check this out. Samson allowed his eyes to be fixed on something, actually someone other than the Lord. He allowed his eyes to be fixed on someone who was not part of God's plan, someone who was bent on taking him down and pulling him away from a consecrated life unto the Lord. See, at the root of Samson's problems, the cause of his great compromise were his eyes. His eyes were distracted, not fixed on the Lord, but fixated on a woman. His eyes were given to Delilah, not to the Lord. Now, we know that Delilah ultimately took Samson's hair and thus his strength as well. But Samson lost something else in the whole process, didn't he? Not just his hair, not just his freedom, but he lost his eyes. His eyes were gouged out. And he found himself living in great darkness, just like Jesus said would happen when our eyes are unhealthy. But then check this out. In many ways, while he no longer had physical vision, physical eyes, Samson could once again turn his spiritual eyes back to the Lord. And in that process, his hair would grow back, along with his strength, and he would have spiritual eyes to see what God wanted him to do next. So, what does all this mean for us today? Well, here, as you spend this week in prayer and fasting, I encourage you to take inventory of what you're giving your eyes to. Like it says in our prayer and fasting devotional, it says, what if today, instead of spending our seconds, our minutes, our hours, our days looking at the things of the world and the things that the world wants us to look at and wants us to see, what if we took time to focus our gaze on God's Word? What if we beheld God's beauty and the beautiful creation that He's painted right in front of us and all around us? What sort of glories might you and I see that will blow our minds? And what glorious and holy transformation might we see in our entire lives, in our heart, mind, soul, spirit, in all of that? What might take place in our lives if we set our eyes upon the Lord? So here it is. Set apart some time to look at the beauty that God's created all around us, and take some time today to look at the beauty and the power and the truth and the glory and the picture of God that we find right there in His Word, in the Bible. God bless you. Enjoy turning your eyes upon Jesus, looking full in his wonderful face. Because when you do, the things of this earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and his grace. God bless you.